Warrior Wrestling's greatest matches continues, and we are within the top 10. At number 9, the match that was so intense it led the crowd to chant, "Let them fight," when it was over. The match that spawned a whole series of interactions and led to our creation of and crowning of a Warrior Wrestling Women's Champion. From Warrior Wrestling 2, this is Tessa Blanchard versus Jordynne Grace.
And there it is, the Black Label Pro Championship. For those that are not in the know, Black Label Pro is another huge professional wrestling company here in the Midwestern area. They're based out of Crown Point, Indiana. Most notably, Black Label Pro is probably known as the place for the rebirth of PCO. Quebecer Pierre reinvented himself at Black Label Pro and has since gone on to take over the country. Of course, Jordynne Grace also was an original at Black Label Pro. She beat Filthy Tom Lawler, former UFC competitor, current UFC competitor, for that Black Label Pro Championship. And of course, last night was seen in an over-the-budget battle royal at All In with the potential to possibly become the Ring of Honor champion. I mean, Jordynne Grace is a fierce competitor right now in the world of women's professional wrestling.
Trying to lock in the side headlock. Tessa Blanchard on the reversal. Tessa coming off another incredible battle last night at All In. And wow.
Yeah.
Tessa being bent over the knee.
You know, earlier tonight we saw Chelsea Green and Britt Baker, who were also part of All In, came up on the losing end of a tag match here. Well, no excuse for that here, Rich. Both of these women in part of some huge athletic contests last night.
Tessa Blanchard in recent months has put on quite a bit of muscle. And I think maybe Jordynne, you wonder if she's underestimating the strength of Tessa Blanchard. Listen, I've seen Tessa Blanchard pick up Brian Cage and deliver a go-to-sleep. Hey. So Tessa has perhaps, she's stronger than she maybe initially appears.
You say that, absolutely. And if we're going to use the Brian Cage standard of strength, Jordynne Grace deadlifted Brian Cage last night in that over-the-budget battle royal. So tit for tat there, Rich. I mean, I think what we're getting at here is these are two women that are really the definition of what the revolution is right now. I mean, they're hard-hitting competitors. They'll hang with the best women in the world, and they'll hang with the best men. That's just what's expected of them. And if Tessa Blanchard were to become the Black Label Pro champion here in this match, she would, of course, have to go on to defend that belt in Black Label Pro, where there is only one championship. She could find herself on the receiving end of a match with PCO. Filthy Tom Lawler, Nick Gage, Mance Warner.
Oh! Blanchard with a vicious slap right across the face. And that just fires up Jordynne. Oh!
Wow, almost pulled that into a bit of a package driver there at the end. It was incredible.
Tessa's not afraid to dive. Instead just puts on the brakes and, oh, wait a minute. This may cost her.
Oh! Face first right across that ring apron there when Tessa Blanchard and Jordynne Grace walking it off like it's just another day in the office. You know, and that's the thing, you talk about the strength of Tessa, but she also can fly. Jordynne can fly. Jordynne has that strength. You know, it's really hard to pick a woman here in this bout that has the one-up on each other. I mean, what for you, Rich, is the deciding factor in a match where both opponents are so closely matched?
Oh! Determination and heart. That's what I think it's going to come down to, Nick.
I guess momentum, too, right? Physically in that case.
Into the cover here and a kick out at 1. Listen, this is not going to be an easy battle for Tessa. I'm much more familiar with Tessa than I am with Jordynne. I think you may be slightly more with Jordynne. Would you who would you give the edge in this match to?
You know, and that's right, Rich. I think it comes down to familiarity, and I don't know how familiar these women are. You know, they weren't even in the same bout last night. They were on different ends of the spectrum. You know, Tessa was in that women's contest, and Jordynne was in there with 20 of the top male performers in the industry. I don't know who went through more wear and tear.
Oh! Blanchard going to deliver the elbow, and Grace out of the way. Fireman's carry. Oh! Like a palm strike right to the base of the skull.
You know, and
Oh, what a drop kick!
you know, I've seen Jordynne.
Cover! Blanchard for the win! With the Black Label Pro title on the line, and Grace, the champion, able to kick out.
I've been fortunate to see Jordynne in so many wonderful matches at Black Label Pro, and I've seen her in this position before, down and out, seemingly against all odds. You know, who would have thought that Jordynne Grace would have beat somebody like filthy Tom Lawler for the Black Label Pro Championship? I got to give her the edge here just because I've seen her come from behind so many times, Rich.
You know, the more I think about it, I think you're right, except for the fact, and I mentioned the edge that Tessa's sharpened up here over the past couple of months. Maybe the Tessa Blanchard of 6 months ago, 8 months ago, would be at a disadvantage here. I really believe that momentum is on Tessa's side.
Yeah, and it's not just momentum here. You know, there's the elephant in the room every time you're dealing with Tessa Blanchard. Is, you know, this is somebody who grew up under the learning tree of some of the greatest professional wrestlers in all of history.
And perhaps the daughter of one of the most devious bad guys in professional wrestling, Tully Blanchard. And of course, her stepdad is Magnum TA, so she got to learn from two of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and that's the thing is when you're dealing with somebody here like Jordynne Grace.
Oh, I don't know what type of training is going to prepare you for that, though.
No, it's hard to get trained to go face
Hands
first.
up for Jordynne Grace!
Oh!
My God, she might have broken Tessa's neck.
Thick mama pump using what the good Lord gave her as she
Oh no!
moves that weight around.
Springboard,
And that is the Grace Bomb.
cover, and no, out of 2.5.
Air Jordan. I'm sorry, that was the Air Jordan there. Jordynne Grace's variation on the Vader Bomb, the Air Jordan there. And as we get back to what you were saying there, learning from some of the most devious minds in all of professional wrestling, Jordynne Grace has started from the bottom up, does not have a legacy in this business, has had to pay her dues, shake hands, be nice to everybody, may not have had access to all of those underhanded tricks and tips that you pick up from people that have been around as long as the Blanchards and the TAs.
Jordynne was setting up for a pump handle driver. Oh, delivers a number of strikes and plants Blanchard, who powers out at the last moment. Wow!
And the look of exhaustion on Jordynne Grace's face there.
She was clubbing away at Blanchard, both in the front and the back, no doubt, taking away the wind. And then crunched her, compacted the spine.
Yeah, and that's what Jordynne Grace is good at.
Old-fashioned bear hug.
Yeah, a little taste of grace there from Jordynne Grace. The Grace Embrace, I think is what she's like to call her bear hug there, the Grace Embrace. It's a little variation.
Oh. Blanchard finds a way out, rings the bell. Blanchard again. Oh! Double knees right to the grill, into the cover.
And we go, oh, I got caught there, Rich. I thought we were going to have a new Black Label Pro champion. And that changes your whole life up. You know, Rich, when you automatically become a champion, especially with another promotion, if it happened here, all of a sudden now we're going to see Tessa Blanchard in Crown Point, Indiana every month. She's got to adjust her schedule for that, make room for the top competition there.
Tessa's left knees bothered her.
I've noticed that too. She's limping around here a little bit, hobbling.
And Jordynne Grace takes advantage. Old-fashioned scoop slam. Oh. Oh. Oh!
And another big scoop slam there from Jordynne Grace, and she seems to be feeling it right now. The crowd behind her wings, the wind in her sails.
Whoa! Oh my! Almost, but not quite.
And I think Jordynne Grace had been doing those scoop slams, really just making her nice and tender, waiting for that big scoop bomb there that she did at the end of the pinning position. I mean, there's certainly a method to the mayhem that Jordynne Grace has going now. Now that she's exhausted those scoop slams, does she go back? Does she find something else?
Well, think about the strategy of Grace. Bear hug, take away the wind, soften up the ribs,
Absolutely.
body slam, body slam, body slam, and it was like a Michinoku driver, wasn't it, that she nailed her with?
Yep, I believe you're correct there.
Oh, hold on here. Muscle buster on the way. Oh, no. Blanchard knows what's coming and knows, she has to desperately fight free.
Anything to keep her at bay.
Jordynne Grace is wobbly and Blanchard going to the top. I think she's setting up for the Magnum. Magnum delivered! Magnum delivered! That's going to be it!
Oh! Wow! I really thought that was it.
And so did Tessa Blanchard!
Kudos to Jordynne Grace. You know, as I said, Rich, this is the kind of tenacity, the temerity, and the face of Tessa Blanchard like she's seen a ghost, like she doesn't even know where she's at right now.
And now the look of determination even more fierce on the face of Tessa Blanchard.
What devious thing could she have in mind right here?
She is fired up and angry, and that is, bad news for Jordynne Grace.
Oh, and Jordynne Grace grabbing her by the throat.
Ooh! Oh no, that just fired her up! Fired up Jordynne Grace, and she is raining down the forearms and the fists!
And now we got Tessa Blanchard in the top position here. She's the one throwing those big punches at the forehead, the face of Jordynne Grace. The referee tried to get in here and gain some control.
Oh!
And you can't do that!
Oh no!
Tessa Blanchard, you threw it away.
And Jordynne's not done!
Jordynne Grace back on her like a pack of dogs on a three-legged cat.
Jordynne Grace is just gonna try and maul Tessa Blanchard
Now
apart.
Tessa's rolling
on
over.
top of the
Now
front.
Jordynne's back on top here. Rich got to keep up. These women are trading blows like the winds of changing back and forth. And you're getting all the referees, the officials from Warrior Wrestling in the back trying to pull these two fierce competitors.
Mayhem here at Chicago Heights, and Blanchard's not done. She wants more. Blanchard wants more Grace.
And Grace is now on top. And again, it's hard to see exactly who's getting the better of who. This is broken down into a bar fight.
Nick, I think you said it best. You threw it away.
Yeah.
Tessa Blanchard was this close to becoming the Black Label Pro Champion here tonight in Chicago.
You can't let your emotions get the better of you like that, Rich. I know that right now tensions are running high. I know you want that title. You may feel like the referee didn't have your best interests in mind. Maybe they got something wrong, but you can't put your hands on an official, Rich. You can't cross that line. You cross that line, you don't win titles.
Hey you! Are you a professional wrestling fan? Check out the High Spots Wrestling Network. Hours and hours of the best pro wrestling on the planet. Streaming on your phone, tablet, PC, and available on Roku. Thousands of videos, all the top indie promotions. So what are you waiting for, champ? Head over to www.highspotswrestlingnetwork.com and check it out today. Hashtag HSWN. It's the best $9.99 in the biz.
Number 8 in our countdown comes to us from Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series Night 2. An epic title clash. The hottest star of the independent scene, Warhorse, coming off a cameo on AEW Dynamite, challenged our very own Brian Pillman Jr. for the Warrior Wrestling Championship. It was an epic clash with an epic finale. the Warrior Wrestling Champion, Brian Pillman Jr.
He's coming from the end zone to the ring. He's not using the ring ramp just like everybody else. A champion's entrance.
Well, for all we know, he just flew in. We don't know.
Boy, are his arms tired.
Yeah. You know, Hausman, this is a title matchup. This is no time for your poor attempts at humor.
Apologies, Rich. Couldn't help myself. Yes, there he is, the Warrior Wrestling World Champion, Brian Pillman Jr., set to take on arguably the hottest unsigned talent on the market today, Warhorse.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I was not a big fan of Warhorse until last week, and seeing what he was able to accomplish in the ring really won me over. And tonight he gets probably the biggest opportunity of his career so far. Against the Warrior Wrestling Champion Brian Pillman Jr., referee Robert King in charge of this matchup, holds the title belt up for all to see. Our main event here tonight, Stadium Series Edition 2, Warrior Wrestling. And of course, we do hope to see you next week. WarriorWrestling.net, the place to buy your tickets. 7 o'clock bell time. And that card is stacked. Make sure you check it out and follow Warrior Wrestling across social media. So here we go. Brian Pillman Jr., the Warrior Wrestling Champion. He captured the title in a war of attrition matchup, this being his second title defense. And of course, he was the hand-picked. He was hand-picked by the former champion, Brian Cage.
Yes, Brian Cage went down with injury, was unable to defend his title. Warrior Wrestling gave Brian Cage the option to pick a wrestler to put into that war of attrition match to represent him. And Brian Cage picked Brian Pillman Jr., who had earlier in the night, before that war of attrition match, gone toe-to-toe with Bully Ray in a hellacious street fight that he didn't even win. Bully Ray beat this man. He rallied, he came back, went through 7 other top talents, and he's now the Warrior Champion. You can see Warhorse here having a good time. And I think it is time for the ass ruling to begin here. Brian Pillman Jr.
And we are underway. Title matchup, our main event, as the temperature continues to dip here tonight in Chicago.
You wouldn't know it based off the hot action in the ring and the fiery reaction of the fans here in attendance.
Pillman extending a cordial handshake.
Ooh, Warhorse slapping it away. Warhorse, look, I don't blame the guy. Don't let Pillman Jr. get in your head. Don't make him think this is some kind of civil fight. This is a war. He's the Warhorse. He's come to put it all on the line. He wants to take that gold. Every single person in pro wrestling, man or woman, want to be a champion here at Warrior Wrestling. So I don't knock Warhorse for not wanting to take this thing and be cordial about it. This is going to be a bloodbath here.
You know, Chicago has always been an incredible town for professional wrestling. You go back through the years, the AWA, and of course, I mean, geez, you go all the way back to the 50s with the Dumont Network, and even today now, Major League Wrestling running shows here in Chicago. Warrior Wrestling carrying on the tradition. Of course, the Rosemont Horizon, always a stop for WWE.
UIC Pavilion back in the day.
Yeah, that was, I believe that was the night of the Skywalkers at the UIC Pavilion, Starcade, 86 or 87.
You are correct, sir.
Yes, but the point is, of course, that Chicago has always been a red-hot town for professional wrestling, and I'm going to tell you, Nick Hausman, I'm excited to be a part of it here with Warrior Wrestling, and what a better representative than the heart and soul of Warrior Wrestling. We talked about Brian Cage, but Brian Pillman carries that on.
You got Brian Pillman Jr. in the best shape of his entire career. He's looking like $1 million bucks. Obviously, he's been showing up on AEW TV, AEW Dynamite, AEW Dark more often. He's got a big match with Eddie Kingston this Tuesday night on AEW Dark. Was recently featured in one of the most viewed segments in AEW Dynamite history, which was the debut of Miro, where Brian Pillman Jr. was teased as the best man. And here you see him now taking Warhorse to the mat and just grinding away at the young buck here in Warhorse.
Warhorse able to counter with the head scissors, and Pillman now looking for the headstand, perhaps a drop kick on the way. and instead won't just let Warhorse get free. Pillman has put on, and I say this I feel like all the time, but considering it's been probably 6 months since I've seen him in the ring up close, he continues to add size, but at the same time, he is leaned up, he is trimmed up.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the thing is he's letting that muscle show. There's not any fat. And these two men, they're just playing mind games with each other right now.
Warhorse able to slam the brakes on, stopped on a dime, missed with the clothesline, and these two both a step ahead of one another so far.
And Warhorse with a long history here in Chicago professional or independent pro wrestling. Yeah, Warhorse with a long history here in Chicago independent wrestling. Before he was Warhorse, a lot of head banging and clanging. There's the Warhorse.
Not sure if you heard what Warhorse said. Oh, yeah. Double arm suplex there. He said, "You really want to bang heads with me?"
Yeah. Warhorse, as I've been trying to say, wait, never mind. Another big hit there. I'm just trying to get a little background in on Warhorse, and he just can't stop beating down on our current Warrior Wrestling champion.
That was a meaty chop, and perhaps, yep, there's another one.
Yeah, this is not somebody to trifle with. Warhorse does not hold back.
Pillman on the reversal, charges right ahead, left no room.
No, and you know, I saw Pillman earlier today when he showed up wearing that 4 Horsemen shirt. Oh, it's some mind games of his own here.
A little slap to the back of the head.
But it was just something seeing Pillman show up in those jean shorts, with that 4 Horsemen shirt. You know, I just get that tingle down my spine when I think about the work that his father did and the way that he's been able to connect so much with his father's legacy and history. It's really incredible to see Brian and seeing everything that he's doing right now in pro wrestling.
You know, you see Pillman anytime he wins a matchup, you see him look up. Honors his late father, of course.
Every time, every time. And now Pillman here, once again, bringing Warhorse to the mat, taking his knees, putting him right into the spine.
You're talking about the history that Warhorse has here in Chicago.
Yeah, you were right. You know, I've been, sorry, I'm getting so lost here in this main event. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on the Chicago independent scene over the past decade plus. I remember Warhorse coming around as part of the Viking party.
Oh, what a drop kick by Pillman!
And he was known as the littlest Viking, you know, big guys, older veterans.
Heads up.
Viking War Party.
He dials in the coordinates. Baseball slide out and look out for Warhorse. He misses. Pillman trying to line him up. Power slam right on the 45-yard line.
You have no idea what's underneath this turf right here. Anything could be underneath it. Sprinklers. Bits of glass from broken bottles.
1.
Confetti from Frank the Clown.
2.
Oh, who knows? That door that got splintered earlier.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you get one of those shards in your back, forget it.
And Warhorse now in a situation many not used to seeing him in, down and in shambles, as Pillman finds his way into the corner. And I could see Warhorse here with his arm in a very compromising situation now. He's turning himself around.
Uh-oh. Found an opening and trying to turn Pillman Jr.'s elbow inside out. Referee out there to check on him.
Yeah, good job by referee Robert King. And Warhorse following it up there, wrenching away at that very same arm and driving him right into the ground on the outside of the ring.
You know, you see this turf and you think that it's, it's soft, but it really isn't. We should note that this is not real grass. This is football turf, which we'll leave you with a rug burn.
Unforgiving. You know, you think about all the injuries you see in football. These guys aren't even wearing pads. And Pillman.
Hey, you know, I'm surprised that he got as much snap as he did on that chop. And look at this. Hammerlock, double knees to the back, and Warhorse for the #1 contendership. Pillman kicks out.
And I can feel the temperature dropping here right now. You know, that has such an effect on your joints, you know. Tightens them up a little bit, you know, for as much stretching as you could do backstage, and you can limber up to make yourself able to go through pain and have your joints manipulated in different ways. As that weather continues to drop, as it gets colder, your joints tend tend to tighten up, and it becomes a lot easier to get injured here. So as you watch Warhorse wrenching away at that, keep in mind it is 59 degrees here in Chicago Heights and dropping.
Back to the outside, and Warhorse double axe handle right on that injured left arm of the champion, Brian Pillman Jr.
Man, and yeah, you know, it's one of those things you're used to seeing guys. Oh, wait, what is Warhorse doing here?
No.
Wrapping that arm around the metal.
Hammer locked around the ring post, and referee Robert King out there very, very quickly. Pillman trying to shake off the effects. That's going to be tough to overcome.
And Warhorse now on the prowl.
Again with the hammer lock into the ring post once more.
And Pillman Jr. taking that thing full on right there. You see it caught his elbow more than his shoulder. And now he's favoring that left elbow, using just his right arm here to go after Warhorse.
You can tell by the look on.
Oh, no!
Oh,
He thought that left arm was good enough to use.
And Warhorse again now headbutting at the injured left arm. Down to the turf they go.
And I just saw Pillman Jr. just collapse like a sack of potatoes there on the outside.
I was going to say, Nick, you could tell just by the look on Pillman's face. I've called so many of his matches. You can just tell by certain facial expressions, by body language, Pillman's in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah, 100%. You see it backing off here, really trying to create some distance between himself and Warhorse. That's definitely a sign that's not good, right? I mean, when you're trying to fend away from your competition in order to re-engage yourself there. And Warhorse now back on the attack, knees, fists.
You know, I got to give Pillman credit right here. He could have just gotten himself counted out. The title would not change hands on a countout. Obviously, he could have stayed out there.
That is not the Brian Pillman way. Brian Pillman is not some coward who's going to have this belt retained by a countout.
Is that cowardly or is it smart? It's within the rules.
Well, and
it's a rule for a reason.
Well, he may want to think about it at this point.
Cover here and a kick out.
It's really scaring me.
And well, Pillman able to get his left shoulder up. Look at Warhorse with the arms wrapped around the elbow, trying to get the hammer lock in. Oh, Pillman counters, rolls him up in a 2 count.
It's really starting to worry me how Pillman can't keep his feet up underneath him. Even there, he was on his feet for just a moment before he lost control and had to back off into the corner. I think something could be really seriously wrong with Pillman Jr. right now, Rich.
Hammerlock body slam. I'll tell you what, this Warhorse really is pretty crafty. Covered. And a kick out. He has won me over in the past 2 weeks.
You know, much like Jonathan Gresham, who we saw earlier, who taken on the foundation, the octopus, really coming into his own as a performer in the world of pro wrestling. Warhorse the same way.
Never mind a performer, a competitor.
Yeah, competitor, but I'm just saying the showmanship, the confidence that it takes to really stand out in a business like professional wrestling. That was that missing piece for Warhorse, just like it was Jonathan Gresham. And now that these guys can go out and hang not just in the ring, but in the entranceway and everywhere in between, the light bulbs have gone off, Rich.
You know, initially I saw Warhorse, and I felt that, you know, you talk about the showmanship, to me it was a little goofy. It was a little tongue-in-cheek. He's making fun of heavy metal, the stuff I grew up on. But, you know, you talk to him, you see that he really appreciates it. It really is who he is. This is no joke to Warhorse.
No, this is him. This is him turned up to 10, turned up to 11, if you will. And now Brian Pillman doing his best.
All right there, Nigel Tufnell. Get back to the mat.
Doing his best to keep Warhorse at bay.
Double axe handle. Pillman with the clothesline. Still favoring the left arm.
And Pillman now, he is feeling himself. And he is feeling this crowd here at Marian Catholic High School for Warrior Wrestling.
Warhorse trying to dump Pillman out over the top rope. Warhorse trying to skin the cat.
Is he going to be able to?
Look out for Pillman.
I don't think Pillman. Oh, wow!
Running drop kick off the momentum as Warhorse tried to pull himself back up into the ring, skinning the cat. But instead, Pillman.
What happens when you stop skinning a cat halfway? I think you get a very upset cat.
Yeah, indeed you do.
An angry cat.
Well, Pillman, regardless, seems to be in charge. We'll see how angry that cat, a la Warhorse,
and
turns out to be, but a flying clothesline.
Shades of his father right there, flying Brian Pillman.
Cover, legs are hooked. Warhorse out of 2.
And Brian Pillman now seems to, at long last, be getting his wits about him here.
Title match here tonight. Brian Pillman Jr. and the current #1 contender, Warhorse. He earned that opportunity a week ago. Now, just moments before this matchup, we saw a #1 contenders matchup between all 3 members of the Rasclaz. The winner of this match has a title match next weekend.
Absolutely. Trey Miguel is going to be taking on either Brian Pillman Jr., who just delivered that hellacious super kick to Warhorse, or he's going to be taking on Warhorse if he can get his act together.
Warhorse, they're able to, oh, what's he doing here? It looked like Pillman was trying to put it away instead. Oh!
Oh, an Alabama slam!
Legs are tied up, and oh, look at this!
The sharpshooter!
Warhorse trying to put it away. The title's on the line. Warhorse!
And Brian Pillman Jr. nowhere near close to those ropes right now. Warhorse has this move applied right in the middle of the ring.
Now think about this. Pillman with that injured left arm, he can't really use that to pull forward. He's going to have to use both his legs and his right arm to try to inch towards the bottom rope.
You're so right about that, Rich. And as he attempts to, oh, he did. He barely got to that rope there, breaking the hold. What incredible perseverance shown by Brian Pillman Jr., the heart of a warrior, a true warrior wrestling champion. And Warhorse here chiding the referee, saying, hey, ref.
Oh, you know what? What Warhorse is doing right here is giving Pillman time to recover.
That is a sign of desperation when you start to take your anger out on the referee.
Super kick by Pillman!
And that just took Warhorse's face paint off.
Pillman lining up to the top rope. Sunset flip, cover! Oh! Referee Rob King's head was inches away from the canvas.
And Pillman Jr., is he going for that? Oh, he's, no.
Warhorse over the knee neck breaker. To put it away.
And as you recall, when Brian Pillman Jr., wait 1 second, as what does Warhorse have in mind is he could be going for that top rope elbow drop that he used to put away Joey Janela.
Now Pillman able to get back to his feet. Warhorse taking too much time to showboat.
Yeah,
and Pillman meets him up on the top rope.
What was Warhorse thinking?
Superplex by Pillman. Could that be enough? Pillman's just gonna roll over into the cover, but he cannot do so.
You gotta move, Brian. You gotta move. It's no good laying there. Oh my goodness, and I don't know if you saw that or not, but it looked to me like Warhorse was not able to use his own momentum to get all the way over the top. I felt like I saw him get dropped on the back of his head.
Referee to the 6 count. What happens if nobody gets to their feet, Nick?
I don't think that anybody wins. I think that Brian Pillman Jr. retains.
Well, of course, but...
They got 1 second here. Warhorse on 2 feet, and the referee saying, we're going to let this thing go.
You bet your ass I do. Oh, there's a right hand. My thought was if both men are counted out, that can't be the end of things.
Well, we've seen Jonathan Gresham and Alex Shelley go to a double pinfall tonight. You know, it's not out of the question. Precedent has been set here earlier.
Well, you'd think in a title matchup, you know, it's one of those things you'd have to expect that both of these men would want a decision.
Well, and if you go back to Robert Ego Anthony versus Brian Pillman Jr. from the first Friday Night Lights show, as part of our Stadium Series, Brian Pillman Jr. able to beat Robert Ego Anthony with the jackhammer, the classic jackhammer, a move that he's just introduced into his arsenal. I'm wondering if he's going to be trying to put Warhorse away with that here tonight.
Oh, what a chop right to the back of the neck.
That is
the base of the skull.
Very, very painful chops to the back arm.
Warhorse trying to lift Pillman up, the double underhook, but instead it is Pillman. Package driver, cover.
Oh, I thought he had him, Rich. And again, he's going to have to go deeper. It worked on Robert Ego Anthony. I think that Pillman is going to go back to that. I think that we're going to see him go and attempt for that jackhammer again here tonight.
Look at Warhorse on the edge of the ring. I don't know how much that young man could possibly have left. That was a pump handle package driver, and his head was firmly planted. The back of his skull right on the canvas. Imagine how that scrambles your eggs, Nick.
what a win it would be for Warhorse here tonight to take that title. He beat Joey Janela at the last show. He beat Brian Pillman Jr. tonight, and he'd have a chance to possibly beat 1/3 of the Rascals. But wait, what is Pillman doing here?
I was going to say, Warhorse, unless he finds an opening here, is pretty much out on his feet. Let's see what happens. Pillman trying to shift the momentum in his favor.
And
Ever so slight in his direction. He's slowly climbing to the top, but he's had so much taken out of him.
He is barely getting up there. Oh, whoa, whoa!
What a resourceful move!
Get the medic out here. Somebody check on Pillman's arm.
What a resourceful maneuver by Warhorse, and again, a running double stomp. He might have pulled Pillman's left arm out of the socket.
Come on, Warhorse. Come on, kid. This is your shot. You're never going to get another one like this. I promise you. Get on him now. Send him a signal.
Double stomp off the top rope. Warhorse for the title. Leg is hooked. No, he didn't get him. Not enough. Not enough. Pillman powered out.
And I don't think the audience here knows who they're rooting for. Of course they love Pillman Jr., but Warhorse has his fans as well. The crowd split here. Hogan Warrior, Austin Rock, Warhorse Pillman.
He wants to end it, does Warhorse.
And the fans here seem to be getting behind Warhorse as they see he's got a chance.
Little headbang in action. Low momentum off the ropes.
That was an incredible lariat there.
Vicious. You really heard the smack of the flesh and the bone.
No kidding. Stan Hansen would be proud.
Now, wait a minute. Warhorse going to the top. I was going to say he had a long way to clear, but Pillman
looking for that elbow drop. And he nailed it!
Warhorse at the top of the title! Hooks the leg! No!
Oh, I thought I heard the referee do the 3, but I guess Pillman barely got out.
It was a centimeter away!
The fans here are going crazy.
Warhorse is going to have to act quick. He's not wasting any time.
Just like Macho Man Ricky Steamboat.
Back to the top rope, Warhorse again. Pillman put the leg up, scouted by Warhorse, trying to turn Pillman over, but Pillman rolls him up.
No.
And a kick out at 2. Warhorse again.
Only almost stole this thing here.
Pillman with a neck breaker. Swinging neck breaker, cover.
Whoa.
And Warhorse again powers out into the Warrior Wrestling title is on the line.
And Pillman Jr.
Pillman Jr., the current champion, trying to put it away, a running knee.
And here we go, Pillman. Is he going to get him up? Is it time for the jackhammer? It is.
Cover, leg hooked. And Pillman retains. What a matchup, Nick Hausman.
No kidding. And another successful title defense for Brian Pillman Jr.
Travel!
I'm the man, I got the plan. When it hits the fan, do all I can, do all I can.
Number 7 on our countdown comes to us from Warrior Wrestling 4, and it comes from the mind of Brian Cage. Always looking for the toughest competition out there, Cage pitched 2 Warrior Wrestling officials. He said he wanted to defend his title against all 3 of the Rascals at once. Number 7, Fatal 4-Way, Brian Cage versus the Rascals.
Second defense of the Warrior Wrestling Championship for Brian Cage tonight. Won it back in September in the War of Attrition match and successfully defended the title over in a match against Bandito in January. But a very, very different challenge for Cage. Obviously, he can lose the title without being pinned. So here's a question for you, Nick. If you are the Rascals,
sure,
is it all for one for all? Or do you think maybe one of these guys sees an opportunity to break away from the pack?
All right, well, first of all, look at all three of them here mocking Brian Cage and his very muscular physique. I don't know if that's a smart idea or not. I've heard of poking the bear, but in this case, I think it might be an actual bear.
That's Desmond Xavier getting the start. Oh, man, oh, man. Trey Miguel just got flattened, as did Zachary Wentz. So plain and simple, I mean, it's a 3-on-1 handicap match. Brian Cage setting up Miguel for a suplex. Miguel with a standing enziguri. Wentz and Desmond Xavier. What happened there?
Hop and a skip.
Yeah, a little missed. Whoa!
And it's breaking down already.
Gonna say a little mistimed maneuver, but perhaps that was intended.
And Zachary Wentz was the odd man out here in the Rascals, and Trey Miguel and Desmond Xavier looked to square off in the middle of the ring.
We're gonna try to showboat and one-up each other, these tag team partners. But heads up, Desmond
Xavier standing tall.
That clothesline, Cage just basically ran right through it, snapped it in half.
And this man is not just all muscle. He can go, he can fly.
Brian Cage, who can not only overpower you, but has tremendous agility, tremendous speed, and tremendous creativity.
You know, you asked me earlier what I thought the strategy for the Rascals would be. I did not see this coming. I thought they'd work together for a longer period of time.
Brian Cage
lands on his feet.
Over the top rope, curled into it like a boulder.
Yeah, like a rolling stone heading over the top rope there to the outside, and now Brian Cage probably where he's most dangerous, in between those ropes.
Uh-oh, Zachary Wentz. Oh! Planted! And Cage trying to put this away. Cover. Out at 2. Wentz able to stay alive again. It is a triple threat.
Fatal four-way.
Fatal four-way. I am blanking out here tonight.
I get it. It's easy to get confused here as you watch this action flying around the ring, Rich.
Point is, it is first pinfall submission.
It is.
That determines the winner.
Yes, and that is why we saw the Rascals so quickly turn on one another.
Wow.
But now,
double stop.
Now they're back on the same page.
I'm curious to see how this all unfolds, though, and what this means going forward for the Rascals.
2 steps forward, 1 step back. These guys get ahead of Brian Cage and they go at each other. I don't understand it.
Well, again, I mean, do you work as a unit, make sure that at least one of you takes the championship home? That's a win for everybody, isn't it?
What I do is all three of us, we work together. Oh, here we go.
Oh, ugh. Trey Miguel wrenching the neck of Xavier. Misses with the clothesline. Now it's Wentz winded up. His kick caught. On a takedown, and Miguel with a drop kick. He might have hit him with a knee there.
Oh yeah, he definitely got a piece of him.
Able to swing through. Cage caught him, but gets whipped down to the floor.
Very inventive here. Now stay on him. This is where all three of them need to get together, drag Brian Cage up to the entranceway, maybe get a pair of handcuffs, attach him to the entranceway. Get him out of the match is what I'm saying, Rich.
Xavier into the cover, only gets a 1 count. Beautiful drop kick. Now we will see OVE in action later tonight. Of course, all three of these guys have had some connection in some form or another with Sami Callihan and the Chris brothers.
Oh, for sure.
It'll be our main event as OVE takes on SCU, but this one
for the Warrior Wrestling Championship. All three members of the Rascals competing against the champion Brian Cage. Here comes Desmond Xavier over the top rope and wipes out the champ on the outside.
Good, keep him down. The only way that the Rascals are going to have any chance of bringing that Warrior Wrestling title into their mix is if they can keep the big man down.
The odds stacked against Brian Cage here tonight. And you like Cage's strategies. Been kind of, waiting on the outside, cover for the title, and no, kick out at two. Nice running shooting star press.
You know, these Rascals, they're great, but I wonder if they're too concerned with trying to be the human highlight reels and not enough about getting this job done here tonight, Rich.
Either way, that was a flashy maneuver by Zachary Wentz. Now, Desmond Xavier ducks under. Desmond misses with the clothesline off the ropes. Corkscrew cross body by Wentz.
I think I saw at least 3 rotations there.
I was going to say, Brian Cage seems to be trying to wait on the outside for an opportunity if there's going to be a cover. Whoa, wait a minute. And I'll tell you what, the Rascals are doing a fantastic job of making sure that Cage is not involved in the matchup. I like Cage's strategy. Stay on the outside, save yourself, keep your energy reserves. When there's a cover, get in there, try to break it up. But I'm going to tell you what, Cage, every time that's been his strategy, the Rascals have been there to wipe that opportunity out.
You say that, Rich, but look who's back, Brian Cage.
Up and over. Back elbow, big kick. Big boot sends Xavier.
And the Swolverine on the prowl.
It is Wentz and Miguel trying to get free from the clutches of the effing machine, who's trying to set up for something huge. And whoa! From the outside in, double suplex.
Pure power from Brian Cage.
Running drop kick there. Will pose for the crowd. And the Warrior Wrestling Champion suddenly back in charge.
And all of the Rascals are down. They need to get up and they need to get back on the same page.
Xavier perched on the top rope. Cage with a big chop. Wow, that back elbow just rung the bell of Zachary Wentz. Wow! Rolling elbow. There goes Miguel. And now it is Wentz. Able to land on his feet. Cage misses. Wentz goes low, now goes high. Off the ropes. Oh! And Desmond Xavier setting up. Cover. Oh!
Very good on Zachary Wentz's part, having the awareness to see his fellow Rascal there
Wentz
flying
back
off the
into
top.
the cover for the title. Xavier able to pull him free. Quickly back into the cover, hooks the leg. Well, now maybe some friction boiling over.
Yeah, this is the part where I think they're not going to be able to work together. I think this is the end point for the teamwork of the Rascals.
You wonder whether or not we are going to see a leader emerge from this trio. Desmond Xavier with a huge cutter. Oh, low suicide dive. And Xavier with the championship in his sights.
Oh, beautiful.
Cover for the title. Oh, at the last moment.
Just right there, Rich. We almost saw the title change hands.
Wentz barely kicked out. But perhaps, Nick, an opportunity, as I was saying, for one of these three Rascals to emerge as a leader here tonight, to really take charge of this unit.
I don't know if these guys have a king. I think they're more of an autonomous collective.
Oh! Here's Miguel. Xavier crashing off the turnbuckles down to the mat. Miguel going to the top rope. Cage back to his feet. Here comes Trey Miguel. The Meteora off the top. Caught by the effing machine and a huge buckle bomb. Brian Cage now with Miguel. Plants him. Cover. Still not enough.
Oh my goodness. What a show of just downright tenacity there from Trey Miguel to be able to kick out of that F9000 there.
Wow. Thought that Cage got the better of that exchange, but Wentz was able to get the knees up. And now off the top, Cage caught him. Taking his time on this suplex. Just holding him up there. One-handed. Oh! And Desmond Xavier with a super kick. Enziguri. High knee.
And Cage dropped.
The Rascals poised to put this one away. Oh no! Xavier, my God, took out his own teammate. Wentz with a Meteora.
Could we see the title change here? Trey Miguel's got the momentum.
Cover. Oh, and Cage still able to power out.
And look at that face on Trey Miguel. He can't even believe it. He's giving it all.
Warrior Wrestling Championship on the line in this matchup. We were milliseconds away from seeing this match end just moments ago. The champion Brian Cage misses with the discus lariat. Oh, and now nails Xavier. Cage again. Oh, God, drill claw.
And that right there.
Brian Cage outlasting all three members of the Rascals to retain the Warrior Wrestling Championship here tonight. What a match, Nick.
That right there, that is why Brian Cage is the Warrior Wrestling Champion. The ability to fend off three men. I mean, who's going to be able to stop a guy like Brian Cage?
That is it for this episode of Warrior Wrestling Greatest Matches. Thank you to High Spots and Wrestling Travel. We are done, and we will be back with the top 6. We'll see you then.